The rowing machine is an excellent tool to improve our cardiovascular system, both aerobically and anaerobically. Additionally, it can really challenge our strength, endurance, and power through the posterior chain, the quads, the core, the back. Really, everything comes into play here on the rowing machine. So there are a ton of tutorial videos on the internet about rowing, and I will say this is probably the #1 misused piece of equipment that you'll see in the gym. A lot of people just do it incorrectly and are not maximizing their time and efficiency on the rower. So this video is just going to serve as a general tutorial to get you rowing more effectively. First, it's important to identify some of the components of the rower. Of course, we have our little display computer here, which just about every rowing machine on the planet has. Feel free to mess with some of the different games and programs. You can set your distance or duration target for the workout. If you start rowing, it will automatically start tracking your pace in meters rowed. Feel free to try with that, start with that, and adjust accordingly if you want to mix up your rowing workouts. Next, we have our resistance dial right here. On this rower, 1 is all the way down, 10 is all the way up, maximum resistance. I strongly encourage you to keep this at maximum resistance. In real life, if you're rowing a boat, the resistance of water never changes. It's always water. So let's row with maximum power, maximum resistance. That's going to give us the most bang for our buck. If you're finding that you're trying to row for 10 or 20 minutes and totally bonking, maybe back it down to a 7 or an 8. But really, to maximize your time, we need that resistance to maximize what we're after on the rowing machine. As far as getting set up on the rower, there are some important things to consider. First, make sure you're sitting on the right part of the seat. If you're too far back, could be bad news. Same if you're too far forward. So just make sure you're nice and comfortable. And then our foot placement is actually very important too. You'll find that most rowers have some sort of an adjustable foot brace here. I personally like mine at a 3, and that gets the strap so it's right over the mid part of my foot, and you might need to play with what's more comfortable for you. So I have mine set up at a 3 here. Start with these loose to get my feet in there. I'm gonna make sure my heels are all the way down, and I'm gonna get these things pretty snug. Now this just helps you stay in place. We're not using our feet to pull ourselves back forward. That's working our anterior tibialis and our hip flexors. That's really not the goal. If you're wondering whether or not you're using too much of the straps on the pull forward, try it without the straps. And we really want to use our core to come forward. So as the actual rowing goes, there are 4 main phases in the row. First, we have the catch, then we have the drive, which is all of our power, and then we have our finish, and then we have our recovery, where we're coming back forward. So catch, which is where the chain is catching on the gear. We have the drive, which is all of our power coming back, and then our finish, which is in great posture, full exertion, full extension, full retraction through the scapula, engaging those lats, rhomboids, everything we talk about in outdoor adventure training. And then the recovery is just that, a micro recovery to do it all again. So let's walk through it step by step. When you start with your handle, and as far as the catch goes, you can really only go as far forward as your flexibility will allow. So what that means is we're not bending through our spine a whole heck of a lot. We're not overextending through our shoulders, because that's going to wrench our back and our shoulders, which is not what we're after. So on the catch, the initiation of the row, we're really only going to go as far forward as you can. And of course, you'll see that I'm a little bit rounded. That's okay. We're trying to maximize our drive and our finish, but I'm not over rounding and doing as much as I can. So if you find that you're pretty tight, your catch might be up here. It might even be right here, and that is okay. With the mobility programming, it will improve. So again, the catch, and it very quickly transitions to the drive, where we're powering through our glutes and hamstrings, you guessed it, as well as our core and our back, to drive and create that power in the row, okay? So the catch, the drive, where we're pulling back, and really it's sometimes hard to differentiate the catch from the drive, but ultimately we're ending up in our finishing position. When you finish each row, each repetition, your legs should be almost fully extended. Of course, we're never locking our legs out. That micro bend is okay, but we're full extension, a slight lean, good posture, shoulder blades retracted, just like if we were doing a dumbbell row or a Superman or a Cobra. It's that same motion. We're retracting, chest up, core is engaged, upper back is engaged, full lower body engagement before the recovery, where I come back forward, okay? So catch, drive, finish. Notice I'm not leaning very far back on the catch, or the finish rather, just a slight lean back to maximize my drive. Okay, so catch, power. So something that a lot of folks will do wrong is they lock their legs out and then row. And you'll find you're not gonna get nearly as much power. We're looking for the drive. About the same time that your legs lock out is the same time this handle should be coming up against your rib cage or your sternum. Notice I'm not pulling up high, I'm not pulling down low, keeping that cable just about in a straight line. For me, it's right about at my rib cage, above my belly button, below my sternum, okay? You certainly don't wanna bounce this into your chest either. It's a controlled finish. Drive. Notice how I'm leaning forward a little bit to get that catch. Recovery. Recovery. Notice the drive. I'm really pushing through the heels. I'm not pushing off my toes. We're trying to get that posterior chain engagement. When you do this correctly, you should start to feel it. Back, glutes, hamstrings, everything that we work out and every other exercise comes into play here. As you know by now, I can be a bit of a stickler when it comes to form. We need to have excellent form when we're rowing, okay? So think about this. Try to break down each rep individually. Rather than thinking of it as I'm rowing for 10 minutes, really, you're doing a bunch of consecutive repetitions of the same motion. So if you need to, if you feel like maybe you're kind of getting sloppy and maybe not doing the best job of catching and driving and finishing, go through the motions. Catch, drive, finish, recover. Catch, drive, finish, recover. And hold that recovery position for just a second before you repeat the process. By breaking down each individual repetition, you will actually find yourself rowing faster because you're getting more intentional drive and power from each row. If I really focus on each row, my 500 meter pace right now is 140, 140. That's gonna be faster than if I try to go faster, 143, 145, 147. So go slow, get the power on each row. That's what the rower is all about. It's a power movement just as much as it is endurance. Get after it.